Welcome to the show, Wave On. I'm Misty, the host of the show. Yay! And thanks for tuning in as I'm getting the pod back up and going. And anyway, it's been going pretty well with some different guests. And then, like this episode, it's really just me with some clips, though. So some features here of some great people over the summer that really tuned into the community and the 7 years of those people that have been around, folks that have been around for a while, and then embracing the challenges first of the physical part of it, but also even the mental challenges to come out of a shell and then to be fine showing up to a class alone. I mean, how cool is that people get past fears of even doing that? And then there's the paddleboard. But honestly, I think that's the fun part. But I know sometimes me saying fun isn't always fun for everyone. I get it. Over time, it becomes a lot more fun once you get past the shakes. And I have Luna in the house. She's here by my side helping me record the podcast. So you may hear her make a little noise or two. But I'd like to talk about a little bit about the summer, also moving forward, especially the witch paddle helping us bridge between summer and fall. And also, like I said, some clips, but those destination paddles and some insight behind that as well. So let's dive on in here. First, getting at those destinational paddles as far as growing the business and having other places to join besides Sylvan Lake. We love our backyard lake. It is a gem of a lake. I actually learned how when we do even come out of Sylvan Lake and go somewhere else, what can we expect besides just different water or environment, and then safety aspects, things like that, which is always a thing, safety. But how do you shift and transition from something that you may take for granted ever so slightly? So we actually went this week to Huron River's Proud Lake area, wreck area. It's the upper part of the Huron. So here's some things that I learned, insider tips. I'm sure I've known it at one point, but sure, right? You forget things, right? And I have this great Paddling Michigan book. So I'm going to reference from that one a little bit as well and tell you about that book that you may want, because it's not just Metro Detroit area. But anyway, back to the river situation. We've been more in a dry spell for at least the past month. And actually, the river was pretty low. And this made this very challenging. I don't have river fins for all the boards, even though I had a small crew this weekend. What was great is you're surrounded by other paddlers, kayakers, paddleboarders, and one person gave me their insight that they didn't have their fin on. My boards usually, the thrusters are fine, but the middle fin, the one that does all the tracking, and because you're kind of going through a curvy, weedy river, it was probably best not to have the fins, but I could see maybe benefiting from just a small maybe fin or a retractable one. I'm not sure. But anyway, some more area to kind of explore as we move away from being in our own backyard, right? Again, cleaner part of the river, the upper part. This was very evident when we went down even to the lower portion of the river, which is very unique. So with that said, it's almost like if you were going to get in the water, the upper part of the Huron River would be your target. The next part I can say about the Huron River, I did try Ann Arbor this year. I did try our Ann Arbor last year, but it was more for personal, just for fun, more experienced paddlers. When I'm in the seat of leading people and taking people out of their comfort zone, even a little more, like this is the extended version of coming out of a comfort zone and showing up to other places. Some people are super fine with that and just totally trust the whole experience. But me, I like to research, know things, know where I'm going. And the Ann Arbor one that I tried this year, there are paddlers there. It's not like no one is kayaking there or doing anything. There is a launch spot, but not the cleanest part of the river, because now this is getting further downstream. You wouldn't think there would be that much of a difference, but there really was. So I was reading actually in my paddling book, which I will probably continue to keep reading this throughout the winter. This is a newer book for me. It has a lot of rivers, different places to go. Again, a lot of times you just don't know until you do it yourself for that your own personal experience. But one of our other places we went was Harson's Island. And actually, inside the book, Paddling Michigan, it's a Falcon guide. Harson's Island is next to the Huron River inside the book and tells about the different launch spots, the channels for Harson's Island. So that was pretty cool. We did try Harson's. It was pretty breezy that day, so we didn't get quite the experience that we were looking to do. But it's still, I think we're getting out of our, all of us are getting out of our comfort zone and getting more experience under our belt. So I think that's pretty cool. And I think that this now goes into the future vibe of what we might be doing for next year, some bigger destinational paddles, which also leads into my retreats that we offer through Luna Moon and our Big Bay retreat, which is in July. That one is definitely the last weekend in July 2025. It went off this year just fine, just great. And people are looking forward to doing it again next year. So we'll see how this winter shakes out with temperatures and how much snow we actually get in accumulation. And we'll go from there on how early we can actually get out. Which sort of leads to my next topic about gear, but I'm not going to dive too deep into that one. Gear is for fall, winter paddling, even early spring, can be somewhere between a dry suit with when you're layered underneath to, if you don't plan on getting wet, if you're that kind of paddler, to more like fleece-lined leggings, something that's highly visible, layered top as well. Maybe at that point you're wearing your life jacket instead of your inflatable waist belt if it's temperatures. So those are just some situational things. And, I always say situational because you just never know exactly what we're dealing with. Temperature has a lot to do with it. A warm sun, may have you feeling a little hot in some of those attires. So it just depends. But really the big topic is right now transitioning from fall to summer. So I love to use the witch paddle. It helps me start moving into the fall season. I usually pick a date around the 20th, somewhere between the harvest moon or fall equinox. Those are the windows of time I like to have the witch paddle. I think it's very appropriate for Michigan, especially leaning into some of those October dates. Even late September can be very iffy. So this one is looking really good temperature-wise. We've actually had a really great month. But again, the witch paddle, it highlights, it's the bookmark, or the book ending mark to the season. It also benefits a charity. So we have people that will have their own boards or vessel and still supporting the charity. Magic Wheelchair is the name. And you should look them up if you if you're not familiar. They help with decorating, actually transforming children's wheelchairs into their favorite character, costume, Disney character, themed, could be Transformers to Cinderella. All of those things. So I picked that charity because I like, first of all, what they're doing, but second of all, the artistic and creativity that they are putting into these are over the top amazing, which then requires a lot of funds to pull that off. So I figured, this is a great one to tie into the witch paddle, and everyone gets very excited about it. We have a best dressed even prize. We also have an apothecary that's going to be there, so that's going to be amazing. This may not air until after the witch paddle, but maybe for next year we just kind of add on. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how this goes. And that's just kind of how I operate the ship in a way. I want to place in the right things and keep building upon that, and also making them very intentional with my decisions. So with that said, I would like to share a few highlights, some clips from paddlers from over the season, whether they went to the retreat. Maybe now they're looking forward to the retreat next year because they got a ton of experience this year. And let's try to keep the hype and the vibe alive during the off season. And let's go ahead and tune into these guys.
How was your trip up to the UP this year for the retreat?
Man, that trip was fantastic. I loved it. I mean, it's funny. We had some good friends, and turns out his grandfather owned the place where we stayed. I couldn't freaking believe it. Oh, I had to salute. I love that there murder cafe, whatever that was, but that was pretty cool too up there in Big Bay. Anatomy of a Murder, yeah, I think that had, yeah, what's his name? Jimmy Stewart. Yeah, he was in that there flick a while back.
You met a local. He gave us a tour of the jail where they held overnight. He was a little weird, but yeah, very interesting. Lots of history, and they're very proud of it. It was a lot of fun.
It was a great trip, and I absolutely love being up there, and can't wait to go back for next year. It's going to be fun.
Don't mind me while I record clips from my paddleboard on the water. Talk about multitasking and getting some things done all at once. And sometimes I just have to do that because, first of all, we're in the moment, we're out there, we're not in a stuffy room setting talking about what we just experienced. They're actually in the moment on the water reflecting about summer.
How was your summer on the water?
It's been amazing. I love it. Thanks
And you're
to
in
you.
the iRocker kayak?
Oh, it's the best.
How many times did you take it out this year?
As many as you let me. 4. I think 4. I love the kayak.
Hey Lisa, how was your summer on the inflatable kayak?
Oh, I loved the kayak. It was very sturdy and supportive and great.
How was your time up north?
Oh my gosh, best time ever. I was just thinking, I don't know what I liked more. North, the destination paddle. It was a good summer.
Shelly, it was great having you out. I mean, the whole summer.
Yep.
You were from the beginning.
Yep.
Did some yoga and then some land stuff. But
Yeah.
how was your summer?
It's been amazing, Misty. Thank you so much. I've lived here and kind of watched you and the paddleboarders the last few years and thought, oh, I want to give that a try because I love the water, but I was really nervous.
Yeah.
But you did an amazing job teaching
well, thank you.
and doing the land thing and then
Yeah.
just kind of stepping in the water and then being able to get up and actually paddle down through the bridge and down canals and out on the water in the amazing community of women.
Yeah.
Not just women and men.
Yeah, we got a few
Yeah.
here and there in the mix, right?
Yeah.
And then to have. I mean, I just feel like you were saying from the beginning. Well, a few of you have been like that from the beginning this summer, and then for like even the anniversary dinner and stuff, and being a part of that. So
Yeah.
I mean, thank you for everything.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to next year. And kind of the sunset tonight was kind of like sunsetting on the summer. So I know, but there's next year.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Just kind of keep building on your experience.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
Talking about current things, and you might hear a little splash of water or some giggles in the background from the other paddlers. That's just how I keep things interesting. The inflatable kayak that they're talking about, it was new to the fleet this year, and last year I really wanted to do this, and I just didn't know brand, how big, if I wanted one or two. Well, I ended up with one big one that's similar to a paddleboard in a way, but it has the inflated ballasts around the sides, adding a little more support. It is a little bigger than a paddleboard, but it also seats 2 people or one with a cute little husky out in front. So that was my sunset ride last night, just to get that last paddles in here before it starts to cool down. But yeah, they're talking about the inflatable kayak, which is from iRocker. That's a great, I love the boards. I love the kayak. They were having a lot of fun with it, whether they really needed it or not. But honestly, it provided way for people who have disabilities or just something, it could be an arthritis tick or something. All their friends can go and then they're left on shore. Well, not anymore with the kayak. This provided way for them to join as well. And I loved it. I loved having it around. I call it the lifeboat, but I've been told we should come up with a better name, which may happen over time. Like I said, it's got to be kind of intentional for me anyway. So yeah, they're having fun. They're the retreat, a little kickback to just having the fun when we get off grid, or not. I shouldn't say off grid, but I call it's like off grid from Sylvan or Metro Detroit area. I mean, we were all in the UP on Lake Superior, very remote area and kind of just takes you back in time a little bit. Some of us had signal at some point on our phone. Others did not. It kind of depended on where you went and what you were doing, I guess. Maybe hiking or maybe just brunch at the cafe. You didn't have signal. I had some phone issues myself. I thought anyway, that was kind of a thing. But we are so looking forward to next year. I mean, they're already starting booking the rooms, and I'm just excited about all of it. I live so close to it, but I'm just excited to hear their excitement and just the things that I had kind of envisioned. Some of the safety aspects for the destinational paddles is just, I refer back to my manual for that. I'm certified to train teachers through PSAPA. They're a professional stand-up paddle association, and it's really their manual that I believe is something I should read often enough, especially when going to these destinational paddles. So I did just that for Harsons and the Huron River, especially. I did a training in June, and I felt like it was fresh in my mind. And then I went back and re-looked again. I'm like, am I overthinking a lot of these things? And really not, especially for paddling alone. That's another topic. And then the destinational things, like knowing your surroundings. Where are you going? Are you able to share your tracking information to somebody that may not be with you, just so that they have maybe some record? Walkie-talkies, keeping a cell phone on hand. I've even claimed to think that if the GoPro, the camera, just taking pictures or video, I mean, you just never know. It's not really going to save you from anything, but it's record of something, and could be beneficial in the future. So there's that. Back to the manual, you can look up locally, you can look up like even Clinton River. I have a sheet handout for paddling Clinton River system watershed. And, they do highlight a lot of things that are in the manual. Some of them are very self-explanatory or just no-brainers. But like being aware of the winter, the daylight, like if it's going to start getting dark early, like now, or just being aware of the water temperature, like especially early spring and when it's really hot out. But wait, what's the actual water temperature? Never going alone, knowing how to swim, those kind of things. We always talk about going alone, and I think that between hiking and paddling are very similar. Like hiking alone, it's like if you could tag along with someone, or when you launch and you see some other people launching, maybe you could even ask like, hey, can I just tag along? I'm not trying to, take over your group or your privacy, but I want to get out, but you might not have someone to go with. And honestly, that's another reason behind Luna Moon of creating a community of people, but also doing these destination paddles so that other people can join and not do it alone. And that's been my biggest goal about all of this in a way. In my backyard lake, I think I was asked recently, do you go alone? And I said, well, I do, but I'm in my backyard lake and I know it. My neighbors are out. They might be playing bocce ball or they're bike riding. Maybe they're in their own boat. But I don't go very far. I will kind of hug the perimeter and stay pretty close. I might not even go for very long, but I will have my tracker on and my cell phone with me as well. But the great part about the walkie-talkies is I can take one with me and then leave one at home. And we mostly have service around here for cell phones, but walkie-talkie is kind of nice to just pick it up and talk. And how fun is that? Being like, sort of like you're back in the day, like throwback to technology. But anyway, those are just some fun tips and tricks. Just keeping it kind of no-brainer style, where kind of generic, but hey, helpful tips. People forget about things, and I think we all can support each other in lapovers of different experiences, and especially the hiking group coming over and doing some paddling, and maybe that will grow a little bit more next year. We'll see. But I'm excited for some more episodes coming up on the podcast. I really appreciate tuning in, growing this out, and just sharing messages and tips, tricks, inspiration. That's what it's all about. And let's keep going.